Okay, we're back on the cutter bar today. Hopefully I should be able to finish it up. Don't really have much left to do to it. I got my parts. I need to order 4 more ledger plates and 4 more top guards. So I got that one, and the far 2, and there's no ledger plate under these guys. And I was trying to figure out, because the only thing that Shoop has for this is the lower guards and the top guards, and I was trying to figure out, okay, where you get the 4-prong hold down guards, and then I got to look at the part numbers, and these are the same as these. So at least they kept that simple. I'll tell you what, am I the only one that feels bad ordering stuff from Shoop and you don't get over the $200 for free shipping? Like, that stuff there was only $98. I ordered more sickle sections to have some more spares. I ordered 5 of the top hold down guards and 4 ledger plates. And the shipping on it was only $10, but it's like, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, man, I should order some more stuff so I can get over $200 for that free shipping. And I've done that before. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna order another $100 worth of shit to save $10 on shipping. I don't know. Surely I can't be the only one that's like that. Well, I know I'm not, because I got some buddies that do the same thing. You see that free shipping, you're like, oh, I'm so close. I'm gonna get a screwdriver before I cut myself. Yeah, this has been the condition of most of the ledger plates. They're all wore down right there, and then this one, well, just as a for instance, this is what they're supposed to look like. This is what they look like. So, yeah, it was time. And according to the book, when you're starting from scratch on these, they want you to start with the ledger plates all the way back against the backbone of the bar. Same thing with all the guards. They want all the guard, because the holes aren't slotted, but the holes are oversized, and they want all the guards back as far as they'll go, top and bottom. That being said, I don't think I'm going to worry about loosening all of the bottom guards. Oops. I'm always leery about working on grain heads standing up too fast, because you don't want to impale your head on the damn tines. Because I have done that before. Well, I shouldn't say I have done it before. I haven't made myself bleed yet, but I have stood up into them tines, and boy, does it smart. And the one thing that I've been doing, and well, obviously gonna have to see how it turns out when I get it all get everything put back together all the way, but most of these have had 2 shims in them, and I've been taking one shim out and putting it back together with one shim, because obviously the bottom guard's got wear, the sickle bar itself has wear, even though, you know, that one, the lips wore off too. Even though, you know, I got new sickles on it, the bar itself had wear. Honestly, it could probably stand to have a brand new bar put in it, but shoot sells new bars for these things. But the thing I don't like about them is, for shipping purposes, they split them. And I did not have, granted this one drives different because you're just driving off of the sickle bolts, but I tried one of their split bars for the 525 and I went through 2 bars. They warrantied it. They replaced them for free. Well, they replaced the first one for free. The second one I didn't. After the second one broke, I took the original Love sickle bar and punched all the holes out to convert it to the bolt-on sickle sections like what the new bars had. But regardless, I did not have good luck with that split sickle. It kept breaking on me. But that being said, what kept breaking was on the Love bar, there's actually studs spot welded to the bar, 4 of them sticking up like that, and those 4 studs are what the pitman arm drives off of, and those things kept shearing off because it's a hardened, I don't know, it's probably one of them deals where it was the finest shit China had to offer, but it's like they didn't heat treat it right. Or they heat treated the bar and then welded the studs on, or something or other, but either way. So that's why I'm leery about trying a brand new bar for this thing, basically. Okay, so I got all the guards and ledger plates swapped out, and then they actually give you a feeler gauge spec. They want it 15 to 30 thou. Between the top of the sickle and the bottom of the hold down. So I went through and checked them all with a 15 thou feeler gauge, which is obviously the tight end of the spectrum. This one's too tight, this one's too tight. Good. This one's loose, which it's got a thick shim in it, so we're going to take that shim out and swap it out for a thin one. That one's good, that one's good, that one's tight. This one's loose. Same thing, it's got a thick shim in it, so we're going to swap that one out for a thinner one. And then those ones are good. So I guess we'll start here. Where did you go? But obviously when you check this, you got to check it with all the guards tight, all the ledger plates positioned, the whole 9 yards. So. Okay, now we'll double check this. Hell, that's awful loosey-goosey yet. Wonder if we can just forego the shims altogether. I didn't have to do this with a ratchet or a wrench and not having one of these. That would be unpleasant, to say the least. Now we're too tight. Well, one prong is too tight. That one's about right. This guy's loose, or this guy's too tight. So I guess we're gonna put a thin shim in and call it good. It's not terrible. It's a damn sight better than what it was. And with that, cutter bar squared away. Got everything shimmed out good. Spun it over by hand for a couple revolutions, made sure nothing was acting like it was tight. Everything sounded good, felt good. So, and the other thing I did that I completely forgot to mention was I moved all of my skid pans around. Because the way they had them didn't make a whole lot of sense. This one I did not move. This one was right. But this one was over here. So like this edge of it was like right here. And then this one was like right here. And this one was in here somewhere, and I was like looking at it, it's like, you know, that makes no sense, because there's nothing as far as any skid shoe on the very corner of the cutter bar to keep the corner from dipping and digging in. And it would make more sense to have your skid pans underneath your support bars that actually, carry the sickle bar to keep trash and shit from getting hung up on them or catching rocks or whatever. So I spaced them out, and actually I never measured it, but now they actually look like they're spaced even along the head. And there's a little bit of a bigger gap between those two than those two, but you can't move. I could move this. Well, no, I can't, because of the sickle stabilizer bars in the way, so that's got to be there. So yeah, basically this pan is where it is. And actually it'd be nice if this one was a little bit longer. Might look into making it a little longer to protect this. But anyway, I figured if nothing else, it made more sense to have them all the way out on the corner of the head to keep the corners from digging. So I did move those, but that was last weekend when I was working on it. I did that. Whether it was a right or wrong move, I don't know. Time will tell. But it can't be, it couldn't have made it any worse. Obviously, we're not gonna be able to tell on wheat because, you're running with the head off the ground, but I was working on the bar, figured might as well get that job done. So, and in all reality, when I'm done getting it ready for wheat, shouldn't really have to screw with the head anymore, even for beans, other than dropping the cutter bar back down into float position. So, and I was also looking in the book, and there's actually supposed to be 2 separate chains on this bolt. You're supposed to have your long chain or long support chain for when you got your cutter bar in the float position for cutting beans, and then there's supposed to be a shorter chain with only 3 links in it that's supposed to be your lockup chain. So when you lock the bar up, you can set it on the ground to jam it up against the bottom of the head, and then you just swap out the links at this bolt rather than having to pull this one out, because this one's kind of a pain in the ass. So when I go to drop it back down, I'm going to get some more chain, and we'll put that second chain on there. That way next time we do this, all you got to do is set it on the ground and swap them bolts, which make it 10 times easier. So I also need to see if I can actually find the right chain that's got the round. I call them round, I guess they're more oval, but they're shaped different than these, and they don't catch on themselves nearly as bad. I wish I had one to show you so that I could show you what I'm talking about. The links are more round than, like, I guess you'd call this an oval, and the links on the chain they're supposed to be in it they're elongated, but they're more bowed out in the center. It makes them look more like an actual oval. But anyway, cutter bar is ready, so I gotta put the pans back on. But before I do that, there's one I gotta fix. I think it's one of these. Actually, I might do it to all of them real quick, because it doesn't take any time. But yeah, that guy. So these things hook on these, that way you can flip those pans back and work on crap if you need to. And the little dealio that goes right here broke out, and one of the pans was already like that when I got it, and I fixed it. I beefed it up a little bit, and I took some and it must be 3/16 or 1/4 inch round stock, something like that, and put that on there. So I got to do that to that one for sure, and I might just do it to all of them real quick, because they're all getting pretty thin in the skin. Now that one's already been goobered up, so go see if I can find the steel I need real quick, and we'll fix those. And the other thing I'm probably gonna do, this is the pan that goes right here on this end, and as you can see, it's catching on something, so I might scribe a line and shorten this one just a hair, because I think it catches here on this guy, which that needs some attention too, but that's a job for another time. And there you go. 3 more. Or no, 2 more. Yeah, 2 more. Okay. So all the shields are fixed and back on. Just a word of advice. This is from my experience. I guess there's really no right or wrong way to do it, but it makes life a little easier. This area of the sickle right here is generally what you're going to be working on the most, because this is where the sickle drive is. And obviously you got to flip these back to be able to work on it. Well, the way it was staggered when I took it apart, you had this one was underneath this one, was underneath this one, was underneath this one. So to get that one open, you had to open all of them. Well, when I put it back together, I went the other way. So this one's underneath this one's underneath this one, so that when you're working on it, all you got to do is flip this one up and do what you got to do. And I did end up, I cut a 1/2 inch off the end of this guy. Got rid of all that snaggle that was going on the end of it, because when I went to put it back on, at first I straightened it out, pounded it all back out flat, got it looking decent. Went to go put it back on, it wouldn't go back on. So I zipped a 1/2 inch off, and now she fits like a glove. So, but now that the sickle's done, everything's, or the bar's locked up, last thing I got to do to the head, other than grease it, is pick the reel up one set of holes. So go ahead and set this thing down. So I'll have to get the forklift up here because it's too heavy to do by hand. Okay, so this is what I mean when I say the reel's getting into the sickle. That right there. Which is what kept screwing up my knife sections last year. So I'm gonna put it back up in the hole it was in, and I guess live with it. Of course, once you get the plastic fingers on it, the knife can cut right through those, and then no matter where you got your reel set, one round all the way around, and all of a sudden your fingers are the right length. So anywho, got to fish this guy. Bit of tension on it so I can get the pin out. And there we go. Now, even with the cutter bar in full up position, we got no smacky smacky. That ought to save a couple sickle sections. Teeter! Get over here! She decided she's done this twice tonight. She's gonna try to go sneak over to see the neighbors. Teeter, come on! Teeter! She thinks if she's fast enough, she'll make it over there without you catching her. Because she'll just bolt. But anyway, head should be, other than, like I say, greasing it, head should be good to go now. So all I got left to do is the thermostat on the combine and switch my sprocket and set my float springs and grease the combine, and we should be good to go. Hopefully my engine parts will be here tomorrow and we can get that done. It shouldn't take that long. Worst part's going to be having to drain the coolant down. Could not find an upper radiator hose for it. It's weird that there's one available. Well, the one that I got for the gas is new old stock, but not saying there's not one out there, but if it is out there, it doesn't show up in any system that the dealers can access, because it doesn't show up in any dealer stock. So for now, we'll just put the old hose back on, and have to figure out something we can do, because it's too tight of a bend to put a flex hose, because it's literally like the radiator neck is here, or the thermostat neck is here, and it's literally got to come off that neck, almost turning as it's coming off the neck, and it kind of goes up and then into the radiator. So a flex hose won't bend enough. There's just not a whole lot of room to work there. But anyhow, I think I'm gonna call it a night, because there's really, without parts, not much else I can do for right now, and there ain't no sense in tearing anything apart. So hopefully my parts show up and we will catch you guys tomorrow. Okay, I got my engine parts today. So this should be the right thermostat in a Perkins box. I'm guessing, I mean, that thing's been sitting around for a while, the way the box is beat up, and it still says Perkins Parts Limited of England. So I gotta believe that box is like probably from the 80s. I'm sure one of my English guys will know better, but just the way it's faded and everything, that's gotta be mid to late 80s, I would think. Made in the USA though. It kind of looks like an old, I think it's a little bigger, but it kind of looks like an old Chevy thermostat. But I'm probably going to save that box just because it's cool. I've got another Perkins filter box at home. And then that's the gasket for the thermostat in the bore. That's the gasket for the housing. And then for some reason, Parts Book showed a snap ring, which was odd. But it's probably got something to do with the fact that the thermostat on this looks like it sits sideways. So I guess we'll find out when we get it apart. Hopefully it's all right, because they showed two different engines for this, for the diesel. There's an early serial number and a late serial number, and this one should have the early serial number because it's one of the first 7300s built, because it's a green one. But anyhow, it should be fairly quick job here. All I got to do is drain the coolant, which I shouldn't even have to drain it all the way down. I just got to get it below the top tank. The shitty part is that right there is the drain cock, and it's kind of right in line with a damn hydraulic hose. So I can probably loosen that hose clamp and turn it and get it out of the way, and then fashion me up something to shoot the coolant over this way. around that hose somehow. So let me see what I can come up with here. Okay, that wasn't too terrible. Just had to spin that hose clamp out of the way to get me enough room, and then I was able to stick a small funnel in there with a piece of hose wedged onto it down to a bucket. So now we wait. And what I'll do while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and tension up this elevator chain and fiddle around with a few other odds and ends, and we'll come back to you when we got enough out of there to do the thermostat. Okay, I got enough cooling out, so go ahead and get some of this stuff apart, see where we're at. A little bit less room here to work than what I initially suspected, because I got this is an oil cooler line. It's kind of running in the way, and I prefer to not have to take that off. Okay, I got all the bolts out, so hopefully I think I got all the bolts out. Should be two there, two there, two there, two there. Oh, there it goes. See how much coolant we lose. Huh. None, it's all just trapped in the thermostat housing. No kidding, it snap ringed in there. Never seen anything like that before. That's a new one. Okay, let's pull this guy out of here. Well, that's seen better days. Well, that's the one that was in it. And that's the one they sent. It fits. It says 1850D on the box, so that, I mean, 1850D, so that's going to have a Perkins in it. But the weird part is, course, that's not to say this one is correct anyhow. But this is the Chrysler one, or supposed to be the Chrysler one. Well, like I say, that's not to say that this thermostat was right anyhow. That's a 180 degree thermostat. $160, $180. At least I'm assuming that's what that means. That's a 180 degree thermostat, so it's supposed to have a 180 degree thermostat in it, and this is only a 160 degree thermostat, which I could see on a gasser because those things are going to run hotter to begin with. So I guess we're putting that one in it. But I gotta finish cleaning this guy up real quick. Okay, I got the housing all cleaned up. I had a brand new rubber gasket to go behind the thermostat, but when I was up on top of the combine, apparently Teeter decided to help herself to the box and she chewed up the damn gasket, so I had to make one out of cork. Well, it's rubberized cork, but the one that came out of it was rubberized cork, so it should work just fine. Oh, I'm still not, I was not happy. Not a happy camper. Feels like it went in all the way around. Yeah, it's in. Okay, now it can go back on the combine. Alright, let's see if we can weasel this sucker back in. I already cleaned the block up, so something I'm going to do a little different, putting this back together. They had I'm going to anti-seize these bolts before I put them all the way back in. I just put them two in there to hold it. I'm going to move the tab for the bracket that holds this line, I'm going to put it over here because this oil cooler line's got a dip in it, and access should be better to it if I move it to that hole. Out. Like I say, the worst part about this engine is everything on it is fine thread. So sometimes some bolts that would be, if they were coarse thread, you could crack them loose and spin them out by hand. There's enough crusties in the threads on some of these fine thread bolts that you crack them loose and then you end up taking them all the way out with a wrench because there's just enough crap in the threads because they're fine thread. All right, I just got done dumping the coolant back in, so I'll pop this guy open so we can watch for leaks. There shouldn't be any. Plus this will help it warm up faster because it's blowing air out instead of across the motor like intended. But it took all the antifreeze and it's right back up about midway top of the tank, so guess we'll see how good she warms up. Generally this thing warmed up fairly quick, so and we'll just let her sit here and idle for a minute and see if the thermostat does what it's supposed to do. Okay. Temperature's been holding steady. And the hose is warm, so the thermostat's open. No leaks. So guess we really won't know if the problem's solved until I start cutting, because what it was doing is it would warm up and then you cut for a little while and then the temperature would fall back and it'd start running right around the split there between cold and work range, which made me think the thermostat was screwing up. So it's actually running probably on a tad bit cooler. Granted, it's just sitting here idling, but it's still running. It's a tad bit cooler than what it used to run with the other thermostat in it. So, but anyhow, that's done. That was the, I guess you'd say, the hard part for this part of the service. So got a couple odds and ends to finish up tomorrow. I noticed while I was working on it, the fan belt's loose, so we'll tighten that up. I noticed the hydraulic pump drive belt's tracking kind of funny, so I'll check that out, see what's going on there. I have had the pulley on that hydraulic pump walk on me before. I'm wondering if it did it again. I can't remember if it walked out or in last time. I think last time it walked in, so I might have to look at putting some blue Loctite on the set screw. And put the sprocket on, or change the sprocket on the cylinder. Set the sieves, well, rough set the sieves, and grease it, and that should be it. So a couple hours tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. Hopefully it's raining. I'd really like it to be raining tomorrow. It wouldn't hurt my feelings one bit if it rained tomorrow. Wouldn't hurt my feelings one bit if it rained all weekend. I know it's 4th of July and I'd like to go to the fireworks, but if it rained all weekend and I didn't get to see fireworks, you can barbecue on a deck and it'd be okay. I really want some rain. Really want it. We got a chance tomorrow. We got a chance Monday. And actually, I think we got a chance Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So hopefully we get something out of that. We could use a solid inch at least. So, but anyway, I guess we'll catch you guys tomorrow to get the old girl finished up. Okay, we're back. This is Saturday morning. I ended up not working on this thing yesterday because it was raining. Thank God. We didn't get a whole hell of a lot. We only got, I had a quarter. My buddy Matt, who lives, he lives about 4 miles from me, but he's like, you go up a block and then over 3 blocks. So he lives basically a mile north of me if you jump roads. He had a tent. And then at my boss's place, he's probably, if you took a straight shot, like 4 to 5 miles north of me. He basically had a sprinkle. I don't know if it rained. I was up there when it rained. I don't know if it actually registered in the gauge or not. And then you go south of the state line, they got poured on. I think they got like a 1/2 to 8/10. But I'm not complaining. That 1/4 inch we got, at least here, did the trick. All the corn that was curled up, you could almost hear that corn go ah. That'll get us through at least another week, and we got more chances of rain this week, which kind of sucks because it'd be nice to be able to cut wheat, but I'd like to have the rain to get everything else, so is what it is. Anyhow, so I didn't work on this yesterday because it was kind of raining and shitty, and so I just took yesterday afternoon kind of easy. But anyway, I got to take care of my 2 belts here, put the sprocket on for wheat, and grease it. And I think that's it as far as getting ready for wheat. There's a few bearings that aren't out or going out, but they're original to the machine, so I'd like to get those changed. Or, well, like bearings for like the unloading augers and bearings in the elevators and stuff like that. I'd like to start. It's not like I'm gonna go through and do all of them, but like pick a few every year and start replacing them to stay on top of things so that I get them before they go out. So if time allows, I'd kind of like to do that. I mean, really, everything I've done to it so far, it'll cut. It's pretty much ready to cut beans just as much as it is to cut wheat. There's some odds and ends that want to start doing to keep from having issues. So anyhow, I obviously already have my access panel off the front of the grain tank, and I already got the hydraulic pump loosened up, so I'm not fighting belt tension to work on it. I was hoping to get it rolled over to where I can get to the doggone set screw. Although even though it's loose, the damn belt's still got traction on it. And it might just be easier to bump the motor over. Hold on. Well, we ran into a slight malfunction at the junction. This is obviously the pulley. It was loose in the sense that it would weeble wobble, but it wouldn't slide off with the set screw tight. And then once I got it, well, first off, when I got it off, I looked at the key, and that's what's left of the key. And then I looked inside the pulley, and I don't know if it'll show up. Yeah, you can see it. The keyway is probably like 4 or 5 times wider. It's been eating that way into the pulley. Then the keyway's here, and now it's like here, like all the way back over here. So apparently it had been run loose because that was the way there was shit packed in there. That's been run like that long before I got it. And it is a cast steel pulley, so you could weld on it and go in there and fix that. And that was the idea that Dad had. But first I called up Maybaugh to see what the odds were that there was one laying around. And wouldn't you know it, apparently, I'm assuming this might have been a problem child on these combines as far as this pulley wearing out, or keyway, or whatever happened in this situation. And they had 3 new old stock ones sitting on the shelf. And I got one. They'd been sitting there so long that there wasn't even an updated price for them. They were listed as 0. So we haggled a little bit and agreed on $40 for a brand new pulley. And honestly, that's not even worth jacking around trying to fix this one. And if anybody's got a 7300 and they need a pulley, Maybaugh still got 2 of them. Like I say, it had to have been an issue, because I can't think of why they would have 3 pulleys for this still sitting on the shelf 40 years later. So what I'm gonna do for now is finagle this back on there and get it snugged up. That way I can at least move the combine. Naturally, because of the holiday, I'm gonna get a little screwed up and won't ship till Tuesday, but I'll get it Wednesday. So Wednesday afternoon we can put it on there. But I'm gonna just stuff this one back on there for now, so I can pick the head up and move the combine and go from there. Okay, I got the hydraulic pump all tightened back down temporarily. I tightened up the fan belt. I left the doors off the front of the grain tank just because they ain't no sense putting them back on, so I got to come right back off again and swap that pulley out. I did make a new key just so it fit half-ass decent. Hopefully I can get it back off. It doesn't like lock itself in that elongated groove. But anyway, last thing I got to do that I can think of is swap out my sprocket. So well, sprocket and chain, because I got I need to lock this thing in, or throw it into gear, I mean. There. Because it's easier to bust these bolts loose. Okay, sprockets on, chains on, it's greased. I roughed in the sieves. Got my starting point on the concave. Basically all I got left is to set my initial speed on the fan. And I think that's pretty much it as far as what I got to do today, other than that pulley, which ain't going to be here till Wednesday, so hopefully Wednesday. Well, it should be here Wednesday because it's shipping out Tuesday morning, so. Kick her into gear and see how the sickle runs and check fan speed and all that fancy stuff. I kind of went back through and double checked everything, and I'm sure in the end there's probably something I'm forgetting. There never fails, there always is, but I cleaned the air filter out because that was still kind of dirty. But other than that, I think obviously got that pulley, but wheat's still a week out at least, so yeah, actually we can go out back and look at it right now, I suppose, since we're kind of rounding up the video here. I tell you what, wheat is probably hands down the prettiest crop that we grow. It's like, just look at it. There's something about, I don't know, I love wheat. I wish I started growing it a lot sooner. But there's still, this actually looks like possibly a little bit of rust in it, maybe. Not too much, although it's not rubbing off like rust would. Maybe it's just speckled because of the way it dried down. But the heads are gorgeous. I mean, they're big. They're fully filled out. Got a little bit of ragweed, but man, look at them cracks in the ground. We had I told you we had a 1/4 inch last night. Didn't put a dent in what we needed, but I'll take what we can get. But normally you need 2 hands to do this. See if I can shell some out. Got a couple out. If I can get one. They're starting to firm up. When I checked, well, I've been checking it about every day, but when I checked Monday or Tuesday, you could squeeze them and they'd still pop. Now they're just kind of doughy, which that little bit of rain yesterday kind of set us back a touch, but not a lot. And this week is supposed to be hot, but like I say, we got several chances of rain in the beginning of the week, so we need them. But the only thing that scares me, I got 500 bushel of wheat contracted down here at the elevator, and they're the ones that are finicky about taking it if it gets wet. And the only thing that scares me is I keep having flashbacks to last year where we got to, I think, July 5th or 6th, and it started raining and it just wouldn't stop again. And my fear is if it starts raining again, it won't stop. And then I'm trying to, then the wheat won't dry down again, and I got 500 bushel contracted that I can't fulfill. And that little kernel's even drier yet. So, I mean, it's gonna be some nice wheat. I'm definitely glad I got it planted when I did, even though it was late. I'm glad I got it done. I'm glad I decided to do it. And this year, I was initially thinking about saving some of this back and having it cleaned and treated to replant, but wheat seed is so damn cheap to just buy certified seed and have it treated. And my stand this year, even though it was planted wet, is a lot better than the stand I had last year planting heirloom wheat, that I think I'm just going to go ahead and buy, just haul everything in and just go ahead and buy certified seed again, because I think, I can't even remember what I had in seed. It wasn't much. But I guess I should call a guy I deal with. His name's Carl. He's got an independent small, he pretty much deals in all small grains. I think a little bit of like clover, alfalfa, some of that stuff. Basically your small seed crops. And he's got his own cleaning tower and treater and stuff. But he also sells certified seed. And I guess I should give him a call and see where we're at on seed before I make that decision, because if the price of seed's up because the price of grain is up, then I might as well just save some grain back and have it, you know, treated and cleaned and replant it. Because I would need, see, I'm going to put that field into wheat, and then I'm going to put Stillwaters into wheat, which is that field where all that equipment was sitting along the driveway. So that's going to be 10, oh, that's going to be 21 acres. So I would need about 2,500 pounds of seed divided by, let's just say 60 pounds a bushel. Need 42 bushel. Would need to hold back 42 bushel. So yeah, I guess before I make that decision, I need to give old Carl a call and see where we're at as far as buying certified wheat versus holding some back. So, but anyway, like I say, other than that pulley that'll be here later this week, and it's gonna be like literally like a 20-minute job to change. Really don't have much else to do to it, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and call her ready to go, because if I absolutely had to, I could run that pulley the way it is and I could throw it back together right now today and cut wheat if I needed to. So yeah, like I say, hopefully Thursday, Friday time frame is going to depend on how much rain we get. Because it's even with the rain coming, it's supposed to be hot. So if we don't get hardly any rain and it's hot, this stuff's going to dry down lickety split, 'cause it's already changed a lot in the last 6 days. So I mean, there's still a little bit of green in the straw yet. So and like that head right there, that head still got some green in it. But 5 days of wheat is a pretty big deal. So, but anyway, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and park the combine for the day and move on to some other projects that need doing. So I guess that's it for this one. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one.